Remember the old G2 skull villain sets? Weren't they just the best? Clever designs, cool skull motifs, there was a lot to love. But what about making other skull villains? Characters that still roam the island of Okoto. They could fight side by side with some of these dudes. Or what if you just want to make a cool miscellaneous skull villain? One that has nothing to do with Bionicle G2. Well, on today's episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series, I want to focus on other villains that fit that description. Some skull baddies. If you've got pieces from these sets, or you just want to make a spooky scary skeleton, then this episode is for you. Let's get you inspired. We begin this episode with a mock that was created by Ray Lee, and it's called Lego Skull Knight Berserk. Dude, the presence of this mock! Those glowing red eyes, the spikes all over the body, and this towering, huge design. It's downright terrifying. It's giving final boss, Death Lord, or big bad evil guy energy. And actually, this base underneath the mock, I think that really helps set the scene a little bit more. Candles everywhere like this, it reminds me of some sort of ceremony or a sacrifice of some kind. The kind of stuff you would see this evil skeleton man doing. Weird, cultish, strange stuff. And how about some of the decorations on this mock? That's what really sells this design for me. Details like the spiked crown that's resting on top of the mask. You don't really see too many crown designs on Bionicle creations. But yo, the way that this design just elevates and improves upon this mask, it's really special. If you're able to add a crown on top of an existing mask, you should do so. And look at this rib cage. A red glow in the center of it, and the way that it just flows up the body into this kind of neck area, which has this large circle of barbs and claws and spikes. Hot dang. Oh yeah, and this shield. I loved the little hints of red that were already on this creation in the eyes and the chest. But adding just that little bit more onto the shield, it really pops. Plus the red area here, how it kind of looks like a maze pattern. There's something really spooky about how that looks. In this context, it looks like an ancient symbol that's engraved or infused with magic. That might just be one of the best uses of this Skrull shield that I've ever seen. This mock frickin' slaps. Really, really well done. Thirok's Journey, Guru 100, they're up next. And they've built Skull Shaman. The builder had this to say about their LEGO creation. A former warrior that lives in the jungles of Okoto Island, it is said that they have the ability to summon the spirits of their ancestors. They are very wise, and they do not hesitate to help those who require it. Early Bionicle, it certainly had a mix of tribal and robotic designs. And right here, using a mix of lime plant pieces and CCBS bones, it certainly reflects that look. Very smart. It's also great to see that dark blue skull spider mask getting a little bit of love. Because of course, every Wave 1 G2 set, they came with some type of skull spider. And you could latch them onto each Toa's face so that they became possessed. I don't know, I just like seeing other characters that are wearing this mask. It's as if they were infected by a skull spider, but it was never removed. Or, maybe they've got some sort of cool looking mask that's just very similar. Either way, I think it makes for a great head design. This is cool. Over to a revamp of the Lord of Skull Spiders. This was made by Neuralizer. Here we can see the original Lord of Skull Spiders. It was a really good set. It was just a big spider dude, but you know what? That's a good idea for a bad guy. But Neuralizer, he looks at it and says, I can do better. And outside of this giant spider body, they remove the head, and they place a humanoid body on top. I mean, that's stuff of nightmares right there. Give him a staff like that, and yeah, this is worthy of the title Lord of Skull Spiders. So few people reimagine this set. I don't know, I think people just kind of look at the fact that it's a big spider and they're like, it's not that great. But look at this. This character has so much mocking potential, especially when you do something a little different like this. It's so refreshingly beautiful to see this. Great idea here to use this new mask on the face. This mask came in the G2 Ikimu set, his Uniter form. It's simply a recolored version of Umarak the Hunter's mask. But when it's in these colors, it better fits the original color scheme of the official set. Looking at it, it's like this mask was born to be put on this character. It's a perfect fit. This is crazy good. Sliding on over into Chubby Bots, they have made Skull Knight. Man, there's something so satisfying about seeing skeleton dudes decked out in full knight armor. I don't know, it's just a really good looking aesthetic. Also, how good does the red streak on their cape look? And look at the lovely amount of blue on their sword. The fact that this MOC is entirely silver and gunmetal, it makes any little pop of color like that stand out way more. Great way to play with color on this MOC, it looks really good. I quite like this finger design too. Using some of those clip pieces for the fingers, and then using some of those Lone Ranger pistols for the thumbs. The slightly smaller and thinner finger design, it's so appropriate for a skeleton dude. How good are the horns on this mask as well? That's 2 MOCs we've seen now that use this exact same Coulter mask, and they've given it some sort of ornamentation up top. If 2 very talented builders have done it, I guess that means you gotta do it too. Ornamentation on top of this mask is the perfect formula for a very, very pretty design. Up next, the Lord of Chaos, and this was made by Kasaba. Here's that same mask that we were just talking about, but this time it's gold. Now, if you wanted to get this in pearl gold, you could get it only in this polybag. And, you know, giving this stunning mask an awesome looking body design, it's just very pleasant to see. The rest of the MOC now, we've got some great horns on top of the head, as well as some coming out of the back, too. I love this large, strong looking torso design, as well as all the gold armor that's everywhere else. It's quite rare to see people using Chi Gorzan's torso piece with the stickers still applied onto it. You know, seeing it here, it fits right at home. You know, seeing this creation, it would pair perfectly with all of the other Skull villain characters. I could totally see this being an additional set that could have been sold alongside some of these guys. Oh, and how good is this spine design on the back? The way that it just neatly flows into the tail? Brilliant. And finally, Nikata Nikolsky has built Coulter, the Skull Samurai. A samurai skeleton. Not something I expected to see, but oh, it's cool. I mean, look at the way that this gold Coulter mask pairs with a samurai helmet. What a perfect pairing. That and this very strong and sturdy looking chest design, as well as the sweet shoulder armor that is just Brutaka's mask in gold placed onto the shoulder, and this waistcloth too. It's just so pretty. This shot here where they've got some like swords as fingernails, it's a rather unique way to do a weapon. And speaking of unique things, I like this foot design. It's using the gold Skull Spider mask that came on the Lord of the Skull Spiders set, but it's turning it on its side, and it's using that rounded edge at the base to look a bit like a foot. Clever, clever. Very nice part use right there. Dude, I'm obsessed with this MOC. What a great aesthetic and a surprisingly perfect pairing for the skull motif. There you have it, guys. That's a bunch of skull-themed villains in this episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. If you'd like to see your MOC featured on this show, you can submit it to the submission email that's on your screen right now, and it's in the description below. Also in the description below are the links to the social media of every builder I spoke about in today's episode. Please check out their stuff, leave a like, leave a comment, and let them know what you think of their incredible creations. Thanks for watching, happy building, and bye for now.